Vultures. Hello, good morning, and welcome. Hopefully those things just warmed you up, got you ready for this live final round coverage of Championship Sunday at the 2019 Memorial Championship presented by Discraft. This is a Disc Golf Pro Tour event. I'm your host, Nate Doss, and we have four-time women's disc golf world champion Valerie Jenkins right here to break all of this live coverage down. We do have Championship Sunday, and we have three players that all have a chance to win this tournament. Let's go and take a look at hole one, get a whole preview of what our ladies are going to be starting off with.
Here we go. Hole one starts out with a 381-foot hole. As you can see, you got to clear the water, and that's 280 feet to clear the water. We've got the water on the left OB, sidewalk on the right OB, and it brings you down to an elevated basket here. As you can see, once again, that grass is dried out, so players might be getting a skip. Hopefully it's not a skip in the water.
Yeah, and really all we can do is think back yesterday about hole 18 and what happened to Paige Pierce, having a commanding lead going into that hole and coming out of it with Evelina Salonen leading the tournament at 2 under par, but with Jessica Weiss and Paige Pierce right on her heels, this tournament is far from over at this point.
It is, and there's so much out of bounds on this course. We have 6 par 4s out here at Vista, tons of elevated baskets. I lost count. I've been meaning to try and keep track, but it's a really difficult course, and it can the lead is going to switch up here and there, and we're going to see these players bounce around, competing and wanting to win this tournament. So 1 round to go. This is going to be really exciting disc golf. Thanks for tuning in. And I think these ladies are getting warmed up on the tee. We're about to tee off, just a few minutes away.
Yeah, and we see the players just sort of getting ready, hanging around the first tee here. Our starter is getting ready to announce these ladies. We will do a live listen in when the ladies do come up here onto hole one, and we can just see them getting ready. The sun is out. It's going to be an absolutely beautiful day. Everybody's smiling, and I'm sure that they're all excited for this final round, as we are, and I'm sure all the fans are as well. You know, being on tour for all those years and seeing Paige Pierce play so many times, and I've watched her play with so many final rounds with you, Val. She really thrives on these rounds, just like so many of the other great players do, and I still give her the best opportunity to win this tournament. So here we go, live listening on hole one.
First on the box, everyone welcome, Evelina Salonen!
And as our starter said, we do wish good luck to all of these ladies. We're going to see the chase card play hole 1 as well while our women walk up to the tee. And all 4 of our players from the lead card throwing beautiful drives on this hole, starting off in the right foot.
Yeah, and I just love doing that live listening, especially on the first tee pad. You know the nerves of all these players are spiking when they hear that their name is called, and then it's silence. You step up on the tee, you got to get to work. And they all put up some great shots there. Everybody is safe. Yesterday, we saw Paige struggle right off the bat on this very first hole with 2 out of bounces, one right off the tee, one when she threw her up shot behind the basket into the water. So she's off to a much better start today. Everybody is safe. That's the goal of a lot of these holes out here today. Eliminate the mistakes, keep it safe, and we're going to see a battle.
Yeah, and we're seeing our chase card play hole 1 and 2. And our chase card today is Sarah Holcomb, Katrina Allen, Missy Gannon, and Madison Walker. So, really all 8 players that we're going to see quite a bit of today have been, factors throughout this entire tournament. We've seen all of these names, with really Sarah Holcomb being the one that sort of just came up yesterday afternoon, shooting a great 3rd round, putting herself in position for a high finish in this tournament. And speaking of Sarah Holcomb, just hitting the branch there. Again, weather not going to be a factor whatsoever in this tournament. It is beautiful out there. You can see the ladies with shorts on, and we'll see short t-shirts all day for everybody. This is a beautiful championship Sunday. We're back live on the green.
And we had forgotten to mention yesterday, but they did do a cut after yesterday's round. So they cut 40% of the field. So today they're around...
There's 40% left in the field.
There's 40% left in the field. So
60%, yeah. So it's the pay line.
Jessica Weiss with a nice easy layup there. So there are 14 players playing today. So that drops the field dramatically, but everybody in it is in it to win it.
Well, they're in it to get paid, that's for sure. I think at this point, with Rebecca Cox just putting it right up underneath the basket there, I think at this point we're looking at just 3 players with the opportunity to win this tournament. And they've worked so hard to this point, playing 54 holes. We have 18 holes left.
That's a great start for Evelina. That's a birdie. Puts the pressure on.
Yeah, Evelina really just showing why she is the tournament leader. Doing the exact same thing as Evelina, making that birdie putt. Both of our 2 leaders making birdies on hole 1. Now 3 under for Evelina, 2 under.
-2 for the round. So we're going to see some good scores for the ladies. And as you can see, the leaderboard right here.
And we'll take a look at hole 2 as the ladies are going to quickly head over there.
369-foot hole 2. No OB on this one that will come into play. It's all about getting a huge drive out there and giving yourself an opportunity to get a birdie putt. You'll see some trees on the right. So you want to finish your shot off to the left so you can be wide open and you don't even have to deal with any of those branches in your way.
That's exactly right. And yesterday we saw Evelina just have such a smooth round, really. No big mistakes, nothing really great, just playing so consistent throughout that 3rd round. Really, these first 5 holes are all birdie opportunities for our players. And really that's kind of how this course plays. Those first 5 holes, you got to get off to a good start.
And we don't see that shot finishing out. I think she might be a little high on that side hill there. But that sure is some raw power she's got behind that drive. So we've seen Paige Pierce for years with her impressive drive. Evelina's been watching all these top pros and clearly has her form down as well.
And we heard exactly what Paige Pierce said, saying sorry to the car, and that means she has thrown out of bounds here on this second hole. And really, one of the most difficult things for all the women's players is that Paige Pierce is really never out of it. I mean, really, 27 holes into the tournament, she wasn't even a factor, and coming out of it, she was the leader of the tournament. So these ladies have to just keep the pedal to the metal. Jessica Weiss throwing the sidearm on hole 2. I love this play. Bringing it in for an outside look at birdie. Be a long chance, but safely in the fairway.
Rebecca Cox with a nice smooth throw there. Just outside the circle, but she is an incredible putter, and I'm sure we'll see her show that off today. And so while these ladies walk up to the fairway, we're going to take a quick commercial break and check back in with, I'm sure, Rebecca Cox or Paige Pierce lining up. We love the craft. Discraft and craft beer. Bevelcraft Brewing is the official tap room of the Disc Golf Pro Tour. And as we'll see, we're coming back with Paige Pierce here. That fence is about, I'd say, 7 feet high. The hole is nearly 400 feet, and Paige crushed it over that fence. So she'll be taking her mark from the fence line. Disc Golf Pro Tour. And as we'll see, we're coming back with Paige Pierce here. That fence is about, I'd say, 7 feet high. The hole is nearly 400 feet, and Paige crushed it over that fence. So she'll be taking her mark from the fence line.
Yeah, it'll be interesting to see how Paige Pierce can react after this big mistake on the second hole. Throwing it out of bounds. Evelina with a outside birdie opportunity.
Hoping she can get her disc back. Doing his good deed of the day.
Really, that wasn't an easy shot for her. She actually banged it off of the fence. You could hear the fence just making a little bit of noise there, and you could actually see that Paige borrowed the mini of Evelina there to make that mark. So good camaraderie between our players there.
And we're back in the fairway with Rebecca Cox throwing her upshot here.
You know, we've said Rebecca Cox is so many times in this tournament already, having a few hot rounds, but just making her way to the lead card for this final round. Great to see that Rebecca has done that, and we can see Evelina here, and she's just laying up this shot, unfortunately playing it way too quickly and making a huge mistake when her closest competitor was already only going to make a bogey on this hole.
Yeah, she needed to lay that right up underneath the basket, take that stroke on Paige right there, but she's left herself with that tester putt. And when nerves are running high, you don't want to leave yourself with putts like that.
When I thought that shot before was Rebecca, but this is Rebecca Cox. That shot before there was Jessica Weiss.
My bad. I did know that Rebecca was close to the basket. I knew she was going to be running a good putt, and there it was. She had the only opportunity to get a birdie there.
And really, that shot from Evelina was not a good shot whatsoever. Maybe a little bit of nerves creeping in. Long par putt here.
And she's going to have a tap-in bogey, not gaining any other strokes on Paige.
Today, we're talking about the Buzz OS. The Buzz OS is a more overstable version of our flagship mid-range, the Buzz. When you're facing a headwind, need a straight shot with a hard finish, or want to throw a forehand approach, the Buzz OS is perfect. I know that even in the toughest headwind, I can throw it hard, it won't turn over, and it's going to consistently fade back into the fairway every time. Pick one up at Discraft.com or from your local disc golf retailer.
We can see our players just tapping in. We will see the top 10 leaderboard, and all we ended up with is now our players back in the exact same position as we started this tournament. So really no harm, no foul. But when you think about it, these things, when you have a player like Paige Pierce who's in the mix, these things are so important to take advantage of, and Evelina making a big mistake there. But we will head over to hole 3, and we'll take a look at the third hole from above.
Here we are on hole 3, 360 feet. Again, a wide open shot. I guess we have to mention that over the fence is out of bounds. There's a drainage area right there that is also out of bounds. But these players, this is another wide open, big booming drive. Players like Paige Pierce, they can reach this. 360 feet. Hopefully we'll see some birdie runs out here. Not much in the way, except for one tree. So hopefully we get some good shots.
Yeah, and with the women's players, we see that concrete drainage area do actually become a factor on this hole. Jessica Weiss now taking the tee. She will throw a sidearm on this.
Asking for it to go, 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 go. She's going to have a wide open look at the basket from there.
Yeah, asking for it to go, wanting those.
And there's that drainage area you were just talking about, Nate. Thankfully, she hits the cement, bounces back. It's going to be a tough shot from there with that fence that she's going to have to throw over toward the basket. And Evelina, here we go.
Stay over it this time.
And way to recover. That was a beautiful drive. That's where you want to place them. That's how you get a birdie.
Yeah, Paige Pierce calling it for to get over it, and she actually skipped off the bar. There we could hear it. Some metal already on this early part of the round. Paige Pierce. And skipping it right past the pole, just a little bit too much heat. She's going to have a 22 footer for her birdie. 4 great drives by our players on this third hole. And that's what we're looking for from the players.
That's what you want to have. And we have some action from the chase card. And this is what you want with a wide open fairway like this.
We could see Madison taking the turnover approach and just not turning it over at all. and going out of bounds on hole 3. Huge mistake for Madison on this hole.
Here's Katrina Allen. She's played this hole probably 3,000 times. Gets a big flare skip there. She's going to have a big putt.
Yeah, and with Katrina calling this her home for so many winners, that this is the course that these players play. This is the course that they come out and play every day, get their practice rounds in, get their, and Katrina making a big birdie putt there, thanking the crowd, as we will come back live to our players on the 3rd hole. And Rebecca Cox just there on the left. She did hit that, stayed inbounds though.
Yeah, and we can see right here, there's a fence right in her way. I mean, we can just see her head popping right over that fence there. So she's going to have to focus on that high release, which is tough to execute the shot to make sure that you don't flare out and hyzer out early. So let's hope she doesn't hit her hand. Let's hope she takes a good amount of relief there.
And some people at home that aren't as familiar, they might be asking, what is she doing there? She's actually just taking her meter back away to try to avoid those, I guess they're just guardian poles so people don't fall into it, but giving herself just a little bit of a relief so she can throw up over it. Doing just that and laying it up nicely. No worries for Rebecca on this 3rd hole. She'll start off with 3 pars. And now our 3 leaders, again, the 3 people that are in position to win this 2019 Memorial Championship are all going to have birdie opportunities, with our leader, Evelina, in closest of the 3.
Jessica Weiss giving it a good run there. There's nothing in her way. Glad she went for that. I found myself at that position so many times on the course. You're just a little too far outside, and you can find yourself with so many of these putts. And we see Paige here right now outside the circle, cashing it like it's nothing. Beautiful birdie putt by Paige. Evelina stepping up next, hoping to follow Paige with the birdie.
Yeah.
And the difference there that I saw, Val, from what we saw on hole 2 is Evelina just taking her time, falling into her rhythm. She threw so quickly on that 2nd hole. And oh my goodness, Rebecca just trying to pop it into the basket, hits the top of the rim. Oh, that's so unfortunate for Rebecca. She will bogey this 3rd hole. We have Jessica just tapping in. We'll take a look at the top 10 leaderboard, seeing that Rebecca will now be 1 over through 3 holes. And we don't have an over. Pop it into the basket, hits the top of the rim. Oh, that's so unfortunate for Rebecca. She will bogey this 3rd hole. We have Jessica just tapping in. We'll take a look at the top 10 leaderboard, seeing that Rebecca will now be 1 over through 3 holes. And we don't have an overview of the 4th hole, as the players will quickly just work their way down to the tee.
So Rebecca and Sarah were actually tied going into this round, but Rebecca made it onto the lead card here. And with that extra stroke, that silly stroke, I'm sure she wants that back, but Sarah Hokum jumps up ahead of her by 1 stroke. So they're neck and neck. Sarah's on the chase card, so she's going to be battling Rebecca without Rebecca knowing it. So she's got to keep up, and every stroke matters. And he talks about quick players. Evelina is a very quick player. Rebecca is just as quick. And these young players, they pick what they want to throw. They pick what they want to putt, or if they're going to throw an up shot, and they just go. Unfortunately, sometimes you're not executing the correct shot, and you're not really focusing as much as you should.
Yeah, we're back on the tee of hole 4. Hole 4 is 381 feet. Kind of just a bunch of trees. There's a big pine tree. It's just right over Evelina's left shoulder there, and that's the guardian of this thing. The players need to go out and around that if they want to have an opportunity. And Evelina has done that beautifully. What a nice drive by Evelina. She is locked in, really, and besides that just funky upshot on hole 2, she's thrown just 4 great shots up to this point.
Yeah, but all these holes have been just about the same distance. You said 381 feet. There's OB on the back side of the basket at the circle's edge, but it is contained by a wall, so you're not going to get a ton of skips. And these ladies, if they can dial in this distance, Paige Pierce can reach this shot. So that's what she's looking to do right here.
Paige, a little moan, but I think she's going to be just fine. But oh my goodness, it skips just over that wall, out of bounds for Paige Pierce. So she knew it as soon as she let go that it was going to be just a little bit long, and unfortunately it gets over that wall. She could have easily hit it, but she doesn't.
Jessica Weiss with a more laser line there. That was a nice 300-foot shot. She's in the middle of the fairway, nice and safe.
And as we come back and see Rebecca, or we'll see Rebecca from the catch cam here, you know, you just can't take any shot for granted, especially in the final round where every stroke counts.
Wow, you can see all the trees. She went around there. She played it great, skipped it back in the middle of the fairway with a nice little stylish roll. That's what she needs to make this par simple for her. And we'll have these ladies walk up to their shots, and we're going to see all the people that are making this live coverage happen.
I love the little asterisks there and friends, as we do have our players, our competitors from this tournament doing the edited coverage commentary. And we are here in the booth doing live commentary of this championship Sunday. Just so thankful to have live disc golf for all of our fans and friends and people out there that are watching here early this Sunday morning. And I love that this tournament is finishing on a championship Sunday because it just has that good feel to it.
Yeah, in previous years it would end on Saturday. Jessica Weiss throwing her upshot there. A little bit of a tester putt, but she's inbounds. You can see that wall there. It is on the circle's edge.
Yeah, and I mean, I'm a little bit tense right there. Jessica really hasn't had very many opportunities in this early part of the round, and she gave it a little bit of a run. And unfortunately going to leave herself with just a tester putt. And here's Rebecca in the circle of circle 2, about 45 feet to the basket for birdie.
Again, right in line with the basket, just a little higher, and she would have been a hit. She would have hit it. Paige is checking out to see who's up next, but she believes she went out of bounds a little bit farther up the fairway. And she did. Evelina next up, stepping up to her lie. Big putt here.
Yeah, huge putt for her.
Good
and
run.
Just inches from going into the basket. Great effort by Evelina. And Paige just marking her shot. You can see where that black ink disc wall changes direction is the edge of the circle. So we know that Paige is about 38 feet from the basket. Again, putting for par on the 4th hole. And just a little bit high, Val. Now we've seen Paige go birdie, bogey, birdie, bogey. So nothing really too consistent in this early part of this championship round.
As we said, tester putt for Jessica here for par.
Beautiful putt by Jessica Weiss. We just have tap-ins from our other players. And we urge everybody to join the inner circle of Disc Golf Strong, Seth Muncie. And I'll tell you, if you haven't met Seth before, go ahead and go try to just talk with him. He's like your best friend. From the moment you met him, Seth is a great guy. And we appreciate him training all of our top-level players and getting them ready. And here we have our top 10 leaderboard, Val. Not much changes, except Evelina now has that 2-stroke lead over Jessica and Paige.
And as we said, Jessica had a little tester putt there, but I think that's what she needs to get a little confidence. When nothing's happening and you're kind of playing boring par golf, you need a little tester putt to bring it back, get a little excitement.
Yeah, we have hole 5 here, Val.
340 feet. There is a Mando tree right here, that bushy pine tree on the right, sidewalk on the left. There is OB beyond the basket there, but we're at an elevated basket, and we saw it give these players some trouble yesterday. It's a birdie opportunity for them, so it's all about placing your shot close to the basket, and we're hoping these ladies give us some park jobs today.
Yeah, and Evelina, again, representing Finland, just as our player from yesterday, Jale Store, and the Finnish players showing that they are ready to play and ready to win tournaments here on the U.S. stage. Evelina throwing a beautiful straight shot here, asking for it to slide, and it does just that, giving her yet another birdie opportunity here in the early stages of this final round. You know, Val, I think you mentioned something good. That was something for Jessica to get her going possibly. But if Jessica was smart, she would just sit back and just keep playing consistent golf. And who knows, she might find herself in a position to win this tournament. And she's gone just around the mandatory, missing that mandatory.
She will have to take her shot from a drop zone that's located on the left-hand side of that tree, well outside of circle 2. It's gonna be a stroke swing here.
Becca making the mistake that some of our players do make when they don't commit fully, going way left. She actually is in bounds as that sidewalk does curl around there. She's in bounds, just not fully committed to that. And let's see if Paige Pierce can commit to this straight shot.
Seems like a fairly simple shot, just straight ahead. Nothing much to do but throw a straight shot. But straight shots seem to be really difficult to do. You want to throw a shot, you really have to trust your disc. And I know Paige trusts her discs. She's playing that flip-up shot, plays it perfectly. It's in between a mid-range and a fairway driver. And I bet for somebody like Paige, she might be throwing a slower disc, hoping to get that nice flip-up, but not skipping too much when it lands on the ground.
Yeah, as we try to teach players, and we'll see our chase card here play holes 4 and 5. We'll bring that up, but it's something when you're throwing a straight shot, Val. It's so difficult to throw dead straight with a driver because drivers are so much faster. So Paige Pierce being such a long thrower, she's able to throw these mid-range shots, and that's one of the things that takes her to the next level against her competitors is that ability to throw dead straight with mid-ranges a little bit further than the other players.
Yeah, and she has a great height on her throw too, and I think that really helps these mid-ranges fly so far. And as we saw right there, that was a perfect disc choice.
Yeah, and as we're watching the chase card here, Jessica Weiss has just laid up from the drop zone. She's really in very tight, and we just see, oh my goodness, just a horrible bounce out over there for Missy Gannon on the 4th hole. And we'll bring it back here, and you can see that pink disc just on the right side on the ground there. That is Jessica Weiss's upshot. We'll pan way over here to Rebecca Cox inbounds, throwing her second.
Gets metal on this elevated basket, this interesting structure here.
This is a perfect view, as you can see Evelina's disc inside of Paige's. Just not quite the extension. You can see her rehearsing that, reaching. She wants to do that. That's why Paige Pierce does that setup of putting her disc over her head, really reminding herself to reach right before she goes into the putting action.
Evelina, she knows these elevated baskets. We've been putting on them all weekend long. Capitalizes on that birdie right there.
And just a great show of sportsmanship by Paige Pierce, who's the ultimate sportsman, giving Evelina a high five, even though they're in a tight battle. Jessica Weiss now bogeying, going 4 strokes behind the lead, as there was a 2-stroke swing on the lead there, and just happens. And we will take a look at that top 10 leaderboard. We can see Evelina has just taken somewhat of a miniature commanding lead early on in this round.
There she goes, 3 strokes ahead of Paige Pierce in second place. Jessica Weiss is right behind Paige at even for the whole tournament. And there we go. Sarah Holcomb is hanging in strong in 4th place. This is great to see. A bunch of scores on this leaderboard, still really tight. And we have a whole preview for this next one. So we're going to take a look at this par 4. First par 4 of the round. It's 783 feet. This fly cam is showing us an interesting route, but if we can look at the course map there, OB surrounding the entire fairway, left, right, and beyond the basket. Again, just at the circle's edge. This hole is all about placement. So I'm sure we're going to see a variety of shots off the tee pad, but it's about placing your drive off the tee in a good position, and that lays you out great for the rest of your shots on this hole. Again, it's a par 4, so we're hoping these ladies, they're aiming for a par on this one. Bigger drivers, and if you have a nice open shot, you might be running at a birdie.
Yeah, and I have to quickly mention how thankful I am personally that there is a cut in these bigger tournaments now with just 14 players on the course, 14 of our best players, and shown that over 3 rounds. These ladies are able to just get on a roll, and beautiful drive by Evelina. She had trouble on this hole yesterday getting caught up early, but yeah, just so thankful for these cuts now, these players making the cut, getting paid. We should see just our best players come Championship Sunday.
And one of our best players here, Rebecca Cox. Lining an up-the-gut shot, but we have this pine tree right here. So you have to pick a side, and unfortunately, she was caught up in the middle of it. Hopefully have a run-up for her second drive there.
Yeah, and I can remember when they planted that tree. I remember when it was just
in
like
1984.
it's not that old. These trees grow really quickly. It was about 18 years ago that tree was just a sapling. I think Paige was trying to tee off to the side, and we've played this hole so many times. This tee is absolutely horrible, sloping from right to left. Paige just wanting to get the perfect footing for this long drive. Frustrated again. It takes a nip of a tree kicking her back and keeping her safe. That was a little bit of luck there, Val.
Oh yeah, her stomach was in her throat as she watched that disc just skim right over the fence line there. But thankfully, I talked about that height on the hole before. She's got great height on the drive, and it really paid off there to skip her back into the fairway. And I really love this shot. If I had a sidearm like Jessica Weiss, I would have taken this line all day long. She's going to have a wide open shot for her next drive, basically, on the hole. And the sidearm is really important on this hole to have.
Yeah, we'll see if she can take advantage of it. We will take just a quick break and come back and see if she can take advantage of that drive. It's hashtag mock next. We don't know what's next for DGA, but they've got something special. And as you said, if you had a sidearm like that, like the Cowardly Lion, right? It's the Tin Man. If I only had a brain, but if we only had a sidearm like Jessica Weiss, we'd all be doing a lot better. And you're right, Jessica does have a great sidearm. Really, Paige Pierce getting so lucky off that tee. That's two pulled drives, and really the first tee shot was also a pull, but high enough to avoid hitting those trees. So we need to keep an eye out for that for Paige Pierce.
That's right. And Paige has such great power, such great distance, but it can sometimes get her in trouble because she's going for those bigger shots. So glad that one stayed in bounds for her. But here we are back with Rebecca Cox, and she's up in that pine tree. You can see it's head height where those branches are. So she's going to have to get, might be an interesting run-up for her, but needs to be a run-up. This is a full-out drive for her second shot.
Yeah, you're right. It is a full-out drive, and this is where the challenge comes, is having to throw full-out shots. And really, this is also still just a placement shot, trying to put herself in position for what will be even a long third shot as well. She's still over 600 feet to the basket at this point.
Nice drive for her. The crowd likes it. Keeping her right in the middle of the fairway. That's going to be in perfect position for her upshot.
Yeah, she did really well there for herself, getting past that clump of trees that could, if she was short of them, really make that third shot so much more difficult. And as we see, we have a really nice sized crowd here coming out to watch these players, and we're going to see, this is Championship Sunday, so we're going to see high-level disc golf all day. And this is one of the reasons we love calling live disc golf, is because of what it means for these players. We get to see it live. We don't know what's going to happen, and that's one thing I think I really like about it.
Yeah, this is great. We're watching it live, but you guys can also go to udisclive.com, and you can see your favorite players and how they're playing the course. I actually found out a fun thing. Nate showed me a little trick on here. If you click on the player's name, and next to their profile, there's a star. So if you click on the star, it actually bumps that player's name to the top of the page, so you can follow your favorite players all throughout the round today.
This is a strategic play for Paige Pierce, as she's thrown a putter on that shot, just trying to put herself in position. She's done okay. There's going to be one tree in her way, but putting herself in position to try to just take par. She knows that this is an important time in the round, as they start to head to the more difficult, more challenging part of this Vista del Camino XL course.
And here's Jessica in perfect position. She's going to be throwing another sidearm. Wide open. All she has to do is clear the OB line on the left.
And we don't know what happened with that. You could hear Jessica screaming at our cameraman. And, you know, unfortunately, I think it did hit the cameraman and potentially stay out of bounds. You know, it's so unfortunate that that has happened. But Jessica needs to now just forget about it and move on. Evelina with a sidearm on this shot.
Playing it wide. Skipping it back into the middle of the fairway. Great execution on that.
Yeah, and I'll take this moment to apologize to Jessica, but, you know, that's the thing that has happened. And Val, me and you have been in that position so many times. Cameramen getting hit, just fans getting hit, people that don't even know that disc golf's going on getting hit. What's going through Jessica's mind right now, and what does she need to do to just forget about it?
And I know she's trying hard, but I you know, first it's anger, frustration. I mean, you don't expect that to happen, but playing over wide, out of bounds, it is a risk to take. And the cameraman was probably the only obstacle out there. And unfortunately, she hit it looking through the viewfinder. There's no way he knew that it was coming right at his feet. So I do think it stayed out of bounds. But that's just so sad to see, because that is not what she needs. This is the last round. Again, every stroke matters. And unfortunately, that was a really, really unfortunate situation.
Yeah,
that's all I could say.
No, it really is. But it is something that we need to talk about. And these players, you know, we are live, and there's so much media coverage of these players. The players are so used to cameras being there. I think Jessica just needs to try to forget about it and move on. Otherwise, it could really affect the rest of her tournament. And she's worked so hard to this point. Rebecca turning it over just a little bit too much there. She will still have a par putt. You know, it's easier said than done also, Val, because, you know, I've been in that situation, you know, so many times, and you get stuck in this little bubble of negativity. So hopefully Jessica can just forget about it, move on, and be the great player that she is. Paige Pierce, this is her third shot. Asking for it to slow down, and it did just that. Perfect shot by Paige Pierce.
That was really great. And we're talking about Paige throwing mid-range shots. Those last two throws were mid-range shots, so she wasn't forced to throw that driver, which can skip, which is a little bit faster to get players more distance. But Paige is able to throw a couple mid-range shots, which is perfect for this hole. You want to be in the middle of the fairway. Don't even want to be flirting with the out of bounds. We see Jessica on the right-hand side of our screen asking the other players in the group for a line, for a spot.
Right here? Yeah.
Recovery there by Jessica. We'll see her walking to grab her disc, but she does have a really strong mental game. She's got a very joyful personality, so I know even though that situation just happened, she's been playing for a long time and she has the experience to recover from that. Of course, you got to be a little bummed, but she's going to be able to recover from that. I just know from playing with her for so many years.
Yeah, well said there, Val. And she does have a strong mental game. She needs to use that right now. We saw that pink disc come in to our frame. That was Evelina throwing a little touch sidearm, giving herself a tester putt. Evelina's made so many good putts already in this short, in the early parts of this round. Rebecca Cox. Been giving it a good run. We wanted that one to go in for Rebecca. Great effort by her. She will bogey this sixth hole.
And we're going to see these elevated baskets all through the back of the course too. But being that far outside the circle and running at these, it's nice. It gives your putter a nice chance to fly nice and flat. So I think it's really great that she ran at that. Not a ton of risk there. Running for another putt here, we've got Evelina. Looking so confident in her putting today. Very nice putt. That was for par.
Yeah, loving that view, and you can just see how confident Evelina is with her game and with her putt right now. If we can continue to see her play like this, I think she has a real strong chance to hold off Paige Pierce, but of course, only time will tell with Rebecca Cox just tapping in, and we will see also Jessica Weiss come into the frame here and tap out. And we do have a long walk, so we'll take a look at the top 10 leaderboard. Then we'll get some chase card coverage of our other players in this fourth round. And there is the top 10 leaderboard. We see Paige Bierkes at the bottom, a name we haven't even mentioned at all, winning last week's tournament. Maybe the high of that big putt, just too much to handle in this tournament.
Yeah, she's last weekend's champion. I know Paige's game has really come together. She is our current world champion. So this is really fun to see her name on that bottom of the leaderboard there. And it looks like she's in a close tie. But yeah, we see strokes being handed back and forth from players all day long. On that hole, we just saw Evelina and Paige card pars, Jessica and Rebecca carding bogeys. So it's going to be one of those days, and we're going to see who's able to stay strong, keep those pars alive. And we have some action from the chase card on the last couple of holes. So as the lead card walks to their hole, it's a long walk. We're going to enjoy some chase card action here.
Yeah, and just taking a look at that top 10 leaderboard, we had 4 world champions on there spanning all the way back, probably 10 years of world champions here in the women's division. The only one missing, but she's still there. She's sitting right to my right here, Valerie Jenkins.
Hey-o.
And so it's a great leaderboard with a lot of other players, some younger players, some newer players just sprinkled in there. Madison Walker holding in tight as well.
Vanessa Van Dyken at the bottom there. We saw her in the very first round doing live. We were following her on the live coverage.
Yeah, we see Sarah Holcomb here just a long ways away. She threw the sidearm off the tee, ending on that right side. And now we see the sixth hole. We saw Katrina Allen do this yesterday, throwing the big roller on this hole. Let's see how it finishes out. This is way bigger than it was yesterday. Incredible drive by Katrina Allen. And I was seeing some Instagram posts by Paige Pierce talking about Missy Gannon, how close their friendship is, being a fellow dynamic disc team player. So seems like Missy's got a good friend there in Paige Pierce. They play practice rounds together. So Missy might be one of those new players with a friend like Paige that can learn from how she prepares.
Yeah, and we've seen Paige throughout this round talking with the leader now at this point, Evelina. Evelina is a strong player in Finland. She hasn't come to the United States much to play, but Paige has played with her many times at the European Open. And I think it's just so great to see. I know Evelina's nerves are high. She hasn't been in a position like this in a big tournament in the U.S. So having a competitor that is so friendly and pumping you up throughout the round keeps everybody calm. And so I've noticed that from Paige through the years, and it's great to see that these ladies are are friends. You know, they're competitors, but they're friends out there.
Yeah, and I think one thing that as we actually see our chase card has already completed the 7th hole, which our players are just walking up to now, which I have to just continue to mention. I love the aspect of the cut. Now our players are a little bit more spread out, and eventually we will come back into the booth here. But so well said about having friends out there. The one thing I love about Paige Pierce is her ability to be a friend, but also stay focused. And, you know, there's times and moments when Paige knows she really wants a win or wants a tournament and she focuses down, but, you know, just 5 minutes later, just like yourself, able to just let it all go no matter what happens and be that friend again.
Oh, that's cute. Yeah, she attacks the course. It's all about attacking the course and not necessarily you're not playing against a person. So she's excited to see good golf. We're seeing great golf out of both of them today, but Evelina has been shooting the best today. She has a -2 for the round, putting her at -4 for in total. Katrina Allen is behind her with a -1 for the round. So lots of great golf we're seeing today. We're heading into kind of the second part of the course. This is a crazy little loop. Still lots of out of bounds, lots of water, lots of par fours, and lots of elevated baskets.
Yeah, we are heading into that, just the middle part of the course. It's the middle 6 holes, really so many challenging holes on this middle 6. And we're coming up to hole 8, which we saw our players have so much trouble with. And really, besides a horrible upshot by Evelina on hole 2, she would be 3 under and have even more of a lead at this point. So 3 grip blocks for Paige Pierce, with 2 of them costing her strokes. We'll just see how it all can play out as our players have made it to that 7th tee. We have Evelina Salonen on the tee. It has to be mentioned that hole 7 is our Savage hole, sponsored by Savage Disc Golf, and that was a Savage Ultimate, excuse me, and that was a Savage drive by Evelina. Love her being on the right side, playing with 7 players in Ultimate with no subs, is playing Savage. So thank you to Savage Ultimate. We have Paige Pierce here going for a big drive on this 7th hole.
And that was a big drive, big air, ends up on the left-hand side of the fairway. She's going to have a straight look at the basket this time as opposed to yesterday.
Yeah. From that commando I missed. Oh, okay. All right.
Yeah, and yesterday she was bumped up against that tree, like really tightly, having like a really strange stance, you know, tough lineup. She's got a little bit more space, so she'll be familiar with the look from that area.
Rebecca Cox, the low laser shot right in the middle of the fairway. That's perfect positioning for her. No trees in her way. This hole is 645 feet, by the way. It is a par 4, so it's all about a big drive off the tee.
Yeah, and Val, you've mentioned that this is one of your favorite holes. In fact, I think you said it was your favorite hole of the course. So be interesting to see how our players can attack this hole. We will take a break as they walk up to their second shots. And it is one thing that we do thank all of our sponsors every single time we see a commercial. So much appreciation to them. And just talking about Paige Pierce and how she is with the other competitors, so important. One of the reasons that the women's game is so strong right now because of leaders like yourself, like Paige Pierce, that have shown that ability to help the young players coming into the game. Something I was never really able to execute all that well I wish that I was, had a little bit of a better relationship, but it's just so difficult when you are competing against players. So it takes a real special talent, and you and Paige both have that ability to do it. And we are back here live. We see Jessica Weiss.
I'd give yourself a little more credit there. You have influenced plenty of people, mate. Jessica Weiss taking a sidearm route, working between the trees over the road that is OB up on top of that hill, avoiding those markers there. Back in the fairway, but that's going to be a big putt outside the circle for a birdie run. This is, again, a par 4. Look at that dry grass. That is very skippy. We are in the middle of the desert here in Scottsdale, Arizona.
Yeah, we're just at the south end of Scottsdale, Arizona, nestled in the Valley of the Sun, Phoenix being the big city in this area. And I know the players all love coming here. There's so much good food and nightlife and things to do around the Valley of the Sun. So always love that the tournament directors bring the players here every single spring. It's so much fun and really one of the key tournaments in the entire season.
It's a great kickoff tournament. It's really the barometer to see how players are going to compete throughout the year. And Rebecca Cox is ready to play. She was on a roll at the end of last season, and here she is again at the leaderboard, parking that hole right there, giving her a great opportunity at a birdie.
Yeah, we see Evelina right here in the center of our screen. This should be a pretty easy shot for her to execute, and she's done just that, executing it perfectly.
Yep, and that's what makes this hole so much fun for me. I love big hyzer shots, and Evelina just made that look so smooth and so easy, and that's exactly how you want to play that. We're going to head over and look at Paige. She's lining up her shot on the left side of the fairway, but as you can see, clear shot to the basket. This is a really good position here. And we have OB Road on the left, but with that hillside, there's no chance of that drive going up and skipping it up there. So upshot here for Paige.
And it's incredible how when you do this commentary, things just continue to pop up. That's another straight putter or mid-range shot for Paige Pierce. Her distance off the tee, allowing her to throw these slower discs into the basket, huge advantage. But Evelina having so much control off the tee and in the fairways, she's continuing to hold on to that lead at this point. And, as you said, the Memorial is such a good barometer. There's really not a lot of challenge for these players at these courses, allowing them to just play to their absolute highest ability. And as we move through the Disc Golf Pro Tour, the courses get harder and harder and harder. Tournaments like the San Francisco Open, the newest tournament, the Portland Open, really all the tournaments just ratcheting up until we see all the way at the Disc Golf Pro Tour finals in late September.
Yeah, it's going to be really fun, and they're bringing you live coverage all throughout the Disc Golf Pro Tour, so you guys will be able to follow along just like you are right now. Also follow along on UDisc Live. This is really fun. I'm glad that they were able to do live coverage. I think this really creates a good atmosphere, keeps everybody in the loop. You don't have to just keep looking at your phone all day long. You get to see it live and see how these shots happen, see how big putts are made. Jessica Weiss making a big putt. I was hoping that was going to happen.
And that is a worthy of a fist pump from the booth. I love fist pumping when I get to see these players make these big putts. So huge putt for Jessica Weiss at this point with what happened on the previous hole.
Oh, yeah, dude.
Knowing it was in immediately after it left her hand. Paige Pierce, that's a birdie for Paige. That's a birdie for Jessica. Let's see if the rest of the card can give it a good run like these two.
Yeah, again, another bit of camaraderie there. A high five from Evelina and Paige making the adjustment from back on the fifth hole on that elevated basket, using those legs as we were talking about, able to make that putt. Here's Evelina to stay 3 strokes in the lead. No doubt about it, really, pal. No doubt about it at this point for Evelina.
Wow, making these putts look so easy. This is so great to see. Such incredible athletes out of this top 4 right here. Rebecca Cox. A lot of pressure. Last one for her birdie run here. And she cans it.
Star frame for our lead card here in the final round. Incredible. Valerie Jenkins calling it one of her favorite holes. And I think it's a favorite hole of our players as well, as they all were able to get their birdie. And now we will walk up to the 8th hole. When we get to that tee, we will do a live listen in. But yesterday, so many different things going on this 8th hole. OBs, figuring out where to take their lies, all these things. Hopefully today we can forget about it. Let's take a look at that 8th hole.
Hole 8 is 360 feet. We're going to see players throw a variety of shots maybe, and it's 288 feet to clear the water if you throw that straight shot, which we saw Paige do yesterday, executed it perfectly. It's an easy shot, but there's so much out of bounds. So we can see a few different ways to play this hole, and hopefully not a lot of out of bounds. It can get really tricky. I mean, players can get stuck having to re-tee since the tee box is out of bounds, or taking it just in front of the tee at the bottom of the hill. And with so much OB on this hole, you can risk getting multiple out of bounds on it. But we don't want to see any of that out of this lead card here. So let's hope it goes smooth sailing on this one.
Yeah, I mean, we don't want to see any of that at all, especially on such a nice day out here. No real wind to speak of. This hole is really just mind over matter. And if we're just talking about our leaders here, I think that Evelina needs to get one inbounds, avoid any sort of disaster on this 8th hole, and then she's able to move into 3 holes that should be played to her game pretty well. She played these holes very well yesterday. So, you know, at this point, we are on championship watch with almost just 9 holes to play, and Evelina having that 3-stroke lead.
Yeah, it's going to be really fun to see these ladies throw this shot because, again, there's water right in front of you. And I think the biggest thing, the most important thing on this hole is to cross inbounds up there. You really just have to give it your all. Who cares if you go OB long at this point? You got to get it over the water. That's my tip, and I hope Evelina can hear me now.
Let's take a quick break as the players make it up to the tee. Then we'll come back, have the live listen in on that 8th hole.
I can throw this disc around the world in 1 shot.
Never play disc golf too far into the jungle. There may be cheetahs.
Someone on your card can't recall if they threw a 6 or a 7. It was probably an 8.
See? Stay getting birdies, my friends.
And that's right, Simon. Stay getting birdies, and Evelina Salonen having 4 birdies in this early part of this final round with 1 bogey. She's 3 under for the round, and our players are just making it up to the tee. And if there's anybody out there that wants to sponsor the live listen in, they can pay for us to stop talking at this point. So if anybody's out there that wants to do that, they're more than welcome to do that. I'm sure Steve Dodge and the entire Pro Tour would love that. And we will come up to the tee and go for our live listening as our players play this 8th hole.
Here's a nickel, mate. Let's be quiet now.
Some are going to be raised.
It was a pretty special thing, yeah. So. Oh yeah, go in. Oh.
Nice shot.
Trying to concentrate. Jeez. Settle, settle. Yeah, birds. So scary. I'm so scared. Like, what do you want?
And I love the live listening, especially there on hole 8, and all 4 of our players doing just what they needed to do, putting them inbounds. In fact, Evelina Salonen giving it an ace run, and I was sitting back here saying, sit, 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 and it did just that. It stayed inbound, so she will have a birdie putt, but Paige Pierce throwing just a purity shot up there, giving herself a great opportunity for a birdie on this 8th hole. So 4 birdie opportunities on this 8th hole. What do you think, Val?
That was huge. That was huge for all 4 players to play and land inbounds, not have to worry about any of that OB. It's going to be a rarity on this hole, I think. There's just so much out of bounds that can come into play. And for these top 4 ladies, it was not an issue. And I wanted to applaud so loud. If I was in that crowd, I'd be so pumped to see 4 shots land inbounds. That's so great to see.
Yeah, absolutely. And we're just seeing our chase card, who's actually all the way up on the 10th hole as our players are. Our lead card is just playing the 8th hole. So, again, just a beautiful expansion of the field on this course, allowing these players to just play. You know, this is one of those nice things. We always love that when you can just play, no backups, no waiting. So hopefully we can see that all day long with our men's players and our women's players. This is Missy Gannon getting through all the way on that left side of the 10th fairway. Again, this is the 10th fairway of the Vista del Camino course. And we will come back to the green of the 8th hole.
There's going to be some bigger putts on here, but I know these ladies are just relieved to be inbounds. And so we're going to see
Like 5 feet.
them figure out who is out using the circle as the guide.
Yeah, and if it were me guessing, and I'm nowhere near the course, I would guess that Rebecca Cox is going to be out first, then possibly Jessica Weiss. Then we'll see Evelina with Paige Pierce being the CTP, and that is just happening. Rebecca Cox is out. She's over by the water, but inbounds. Loving the shades. She's always got good shade game. She's always got good shades on.
Yeah, it's not called throwing shade. I think that's something different, but she does have shade game. It's a big putt. She tries to go for it there, but that just makes it look like an upshot. Drop in for her par there. And as you called it, Jessica Weiss is stepping up to her lie here, lining it up for her birdie on this hole here.
And just a little bit longer than we thought she was, even having to really reach for that, just being short on the left side. Evelina Salonen, who's made so many putts. This is for birdie on hole 8. and just a little bit short as well. Really no harm, no foul. And in this case, Paige Pierce is going to have a birdie putt as she moves in for that look. We have just a perfect view of this attempt.
Capitalizing on that, taking the only birdie of the card. Good putt by Paige.
Yeah, Paige Pierce moving to 2 under for this final round, and we just have tap-ins on this 8th hole. But as Paige Pierce moves to 2 under, we will see Evelina just tapping in. But she's 2 under, and Evelina's 3 under, so Evelina has extended that lead just slightly by 1 at this point, with making it a 2-stroke lead. And we'll see our top 10 leaderboard. Katrina Allen, 3 under par for this final round. Katrina feeling the good vibes there on the second card. A really pretty decent score separation with Missy Gannon at 5 over really being just the worst score of our top ladies.
Yep, we see a few people skyrocketing up that leaderboard, but Evelina and Paige are still at the top, closing the gap with 1 stroke gained on that hole. Paige Pierce is now just 2 behind Evelina. This is a good time. I think this is going to be the race that we're going to see them trading off here and there, but they're the two going into this final round ready to win this tournament. And we're on hole 9 here. This is the shot from the men's tee. We only saw one guy throwing over the water in the lead card yesterday, but the ladies' tee is on the fairway on the right-hand side here, but we get a good view of 324 feet. And it's really about just executing that line with the skippy grass. You want to make sure to hit the angle on that grass and give you a good skip next to the basket. So another great chance for a birdie for these ladies, but it's all about knowing the height that you're throwing at and that angle you're landing at.
Yeah, and 324 feet is such a deceptive number because it seems so short, but this ends up being the most technical hole of the entire tournament with how many trees they have to play through. So, yesterday we saw mostly pars from our players, and we'll just see how our players can attack this, just getting the scores on our tee pad. We see Nate Perkins there. Nate Perkins has been caddying for Paige Pierce in this final round.
Looks like pretty easy caddy work. He's
got
to
push a cart.
Roll a cart, and he gets to sit on it. So he's got an easy job today. And seeing his player doing really well, that makes it really easy caddying too.
Yeah, now we can see how technical hole 9 is.
A little high out of her hand. Punches through. She's long of the basket there. She'll have a great putt, but it looks like it's near circle's edge. And I think that was the correct route to go for, right up the gut. I think we're going to see Evelina do just the same. Nice and low. That's perfect release point. Let's see if she can get that skip. Lands a little flat. Wasn't able to capitalize on the skip there, but outside the circle putt for Evelina too.
Yeah, and I'd call that more of a skizzle. She didn't get much of a skip, but it was a skizzle as she just skizzled along the grass there up to the edge of the circle. Rebecca Cox.
Another great line. Great angle as she lands.
Just short of the circle's edge as well.
Not enough distance on that, but it looked like a great release. You can see Jessica's power on this one.
Audible pop off of her fingers. And there you go. Park job for Jessica Weiss, coming back strong after and we have our Zuka replay here of this shot, and you can just see the pop that she has, fully committed to this shot and fully committed to sliding it right underneath the basket.
Yeah, and Johnny V, if we could just save that shot for next year, let's use that as our whole preview because she played that perfect. That's exactly what you want to do. All the work is done for Jessica at this point. It's a nice, easy drop in birdie on this hole. The rest of the players, they've got some putts ahead of them.
Yeah, so we call that a skip to skizzle, as she skipped up towards the basket and then skizzled to right underneath it. Yeah, just a little player talk there. I can't even imagine how many thousands of terms there are. There should be a dictionary for the terms that we use out on the course.
I think somebody started one.
Yeah.
Skip to skizzle. I don't think I've heard that one though. That's a new one. And I've heard you make up plenty of terms out there.
Yeah. And we just have our players having to walk 324 feet up to the basket. We're going to have 4 birdie opportunities on this 9th hole. Rebecca Cox, while it is a long opportunity, it is still an opportunity.
And it's a standard basket, which is few and far between. We just saw the players put out on another standard basket. We've been seeing them crush putts on the elevated basket. So, going up and down and trying to figure out your putting style on these different sized basket, it might be playing into their head a little bit.
Yeah, I'm not sure. Yeah, it's definitely possible with so many elevated baskets. The last 2 have been standard height. We see Paige cruising in to her putt. Now, she threw it long. It's not a gimme by any means, but an opportunity to get 1 stroke closer to our leader, Evelina Salonen. This is for birdie and to go 3 under par in this final round.
Huge putt. Paige is ready to play. That makes 3 birdies in a row for Paige, 1 stroke back of Evelina. That was incredible. Keeping the pressure on.
And our 4-time world champion, Valerie Jenkins, sang it perfectly. That was incredible and something that we've gotten used to seeing Paige do. And as I said way back in the beginning of our coverage, you never know with Paige Pierce. It only takes just a few holes for her to get back into the game. And now 3 birdies in the row as we've, really now made what is the virtual turn. We just have 1 more hole till the players turn and come back the opposite direction that they've been playing. But we've played 9 holes. And the scores for our 2 leaders are exactly the same, getting there completely different ways, but exactly the same.
Right. As I check out the scorecards as they lay out here on udislive.com, we see Paige and Evelina in the first couple of holes back and forth with birdie bogey. And then now as we get into these last 3 holes, we've had lots of birdies for this lead card. Everybody's carded a bogey or a birdie, in the last 3 holes. So they're feeling it. We're headed into, this is a huge hole here. I think this is a good opportunity for players to execute the shot. It's a placement hole once again, but it's all about not making mistakes. So here we are on hole 10. It's a 651-foot par 4. We can see that there's OB on the left, but a really dense pine tree line on the right at the top of this side hill. So placing your shot at the bottom of that side hill is important so you don't have a low ceiling up shot. But we're going to keep on going because we're not at the basket just yet. And here is the basket, kind of on a side hill here, but we're looking for pars out of these ladies. We saw Simon Lizotte roll to the basket height on this, which is incredible. But most players were looking for par on this, especially for these ladies.
Yeah, we didn't skip over Jessica Weiss with her drop-in birdie there so easily, but that was an incredible drive by Jessica, and I can't say enough about Jessica after what happened way back on hole 6, hitting one of our cameramen. The thing about it, I've been thinking a lot about it. The cameramen are really a part of the course at this point. live coverage, media coverage is so important, not only for our game, but for these players. So Jessica, understanding that, forgetting about it, moving on, and making 2 birdies and now even par for the round. But here we go. Back 9 of the championship, the 2019 Memorial Championship. We are in the same position we were when the ladies started. Evelina Salonen at 5 under, Paige Pierce at 4 under, and here we go. Way up there and inbounds for Paige Pierce. I'm so excited to see what's going to happen in these next 9 holes.
All right, camera guy, you better watch yourself. We're coming right at you.
Hopefully you heard her. I'm gonna move out of the way now. And we hear that plenty of times out of Jessica, out of Sarah Holcomb too. I mean, they're throwing sidearm shots. So while other players are throwing the backhand route that cameramen are used to following, these ladies are taking a different route, and the cameramen are usually on that side of the fairway. Great shot by Evelina right in the middle of the fairway. The disc landed nice and flat, so she didn't get that flare skip to put her into those trees right in the middle of the fairway. Nips the trees, lands off to the left. She's going to have to contend with those trees that we can see on the right hand of our screen. But she'll be all right. It's out there. And
we'll take a quick break as these players do walk up the fairway.
Lands off to the left. She's going to have to contend with those trees that we can see on the right hand of our screen. But she'll be all right. It's out there. And
we'll take a quick break as these players do walk up the fairway. Kids Disc Golf, a supporter of the Disc Golf Pro Tour, and we were kids when we started. So it's so important to start young as a player if you want to be a world champion these days. All of these players that we're seeing on this card started when they were just kids. So how important is kids disc golf really at this point?
It's huge. I know that all these ladies learn from their parents playing. So they learned basically the sport when they were born, just like a couple of people we know. And so as we see these cards, they're all young players and they have so much experience already. Rebecca Cox. I believe Rebecca is only about 20 years old. She might be 21. Evelina, 19 years old. This is amazing to see. Jessica Weiss, I believe she's 21 or 22. Paige is just a couple of years older than that. All these young guns. I mean, it's amazing to see.
Yeah, I mean, forget about what age Paige is now, but Paige is the veteran of this group, having been through so many of these rounds, having multiple world championships, and all of these players looking up to Paige Pierce as they came into their careers and now being right there with them. And we know that feeling of, following the players and then eventually getting to play with those players. It's so exciting and so much fun. Jessica, happy with her upshot there, just, caught up in those trees on the right side, just pitching out, putting herself in position to make par. This is an outside look for birdie. If Evelina can make this, sort of a flippy. She's got to flip it, and it's doing just that perfectly. It's got enough distance is the question.
Yes. Yeah, she's going to be running at that birdie right there. She was in such a great position. No trees in her way. It was just all about keeping it in the middle of the fairway. And with a straight shot like that, the flight is really difficult. But she flipped it up perfectly, and that's going to be a good run for her.
Yeah, and Val, it seems like Evelina is so out of control when she's throwing. It just looks that way, but it's, practice makes perfect. And being a Finnish player, they work so hard to work on their game. They rent out indoor soccer places in the winter when it's dark and cold up there in Finland. So our Finnish players are working so hard, and I would not be surprised if in just a few years from now, if we saw even more of those younger Finnish players making it into these cards on not only the women's side but the men's side. We love seeing this. We saw this from Paige Pierce yesterday. Not sure which way she wanted to go. Yesterday, she took the flip-up shot, pulling it a little bit too wide. We had Sias Elmore in our men's group take the same shot and execute it. So Paige is just going to take the sidearm here, it looks like, but not sure quite really. No, she is going with the backhand. Our leaders.
And playing this course back-to-back 2 days in a row, I consider the second round on any course the redemption round, and Paige redeemed that shot, landing in similar position yesterday, as you said. But yeah, that's a tough shot to execute. And I mentioned it yesterday, but Paige has been working on a video coverage of that shot that we just saw right there behind the players and seeing them as they decide which shot to go for. And as one player that I learned from, Elaine King, she always says, choose the path of least resistance. And I mean, if anybody knows how to kill a course, it's Elaine King, playing forever. And here we go. Jessica Weiss parks it. Nice par look right here.
Yeah, and Jessica really calming down. Rebecca Cox stepping up quickly, giving it a little bit of a run there. And now we'll come up to the green as we just see our players walking to their shots. And just a quick score update, Katrina Allen through 11 holes is 4 under par. She's our lowest score on the course. She's moved to 1 over par for the tournament into 4th place solo. And what an incredible round Katrina is having to this point. Let's see if she can hold on and continue to go further under par as she moves towards the clubhouse and towards that 18th hole.
Paige Pierce just one back from Evelina, putting for birdie.
And that is a big open door for Evelina to walk right through. Opportunity is all hers. Let's see her look. I love this look of this putt. She's had them so in the heart all day.
Huge putt. That was great. That gave Evelina another stroke on Paige. She is now 2 ahead with that birdie putt. She played that hole so nicely. And it was great to see, even Paige going for the birdie run on there.
Yeah, those two players obviously are, above and beyond all of our other players in this tournament. Jessica just tapping in for her par, doing that quite nicely. And we'll go ahead and see the top 10 leaderboard. And you'll see now Evelina 4 under par through 10 holes. And yeah, we just have Paige just to tap in here as well. But, we will pull this board up and see now Evelina 6 under par. Not afraid at all to go low. Loving this look from Evelina.
Exactly. She's a young player. She has no fear around the basket. She's been making all these putts under pressure here, and she still finds herself up at the top. So fun to be watching this. Still such a tight race. Lots of holes left, but they've got a long walk. So we're going to take a break for a second and hear from our sponsors.
When the water's up and your discs are down, you need a quick stick. Grabs it easily, pulls it in instantly. There's nothing faster or easier than an in-zone quick stick.
And that was a full commercial break, giving all of our fans at home the opportunity to go run, get some more food, get some water, go to the bathroom. That was like a commercial break on TV. And we are live here for our final round coverage. And big thanks to all of our sponsors. And you mentioned redemption rounds. We see Jennifer Allen down there at 1 under par. She had just a horrible round yesterday, but coming back, shooting strong. She's through 15 holes at 1 under par. So our furthest under par that far into the course.
Yeah, that's nice to see. Redemption round. Jennifer Allen, we keep saying it, but she's a new resident of Arizona. So I'm sure she wanted to play better this weekend. But as we both know, playing on your home course can be very challenging and the pressure is on. And here we've got the lead card. They're hanging out, waiting for the hole to clear.
Yeah, and if we could pull up this hole preview of the 11th hole, we'd love to see. Actually, let's not do that because we have our players heading here. Val, just give us a quick layout of what they're looking at on the 11th hole here.
So this is a women's tee, a temporary tee they're playing from. Evelina is looking for a big drive because this hole is a few claps. Sounds like she's inbounds. It's 543 feet. It's a par 4. It's all about placement off the tee. We're going to see Paige Pierce yesterday did a very strategic shot, throwing a mid-range.
An immediate reaction from Paige Pierce, but looking perfect. I'm not sure sometimes that happens. I had so many times where I thought it was a shank and it ended up perfect, and she did that. Evelina was close to going out of bounds on the right side, but the fans giving her a little bit of cheers, so no problems there. Coming in. And Jessica going sidearm, worried about hitting some people, but really coming in on the really a great position for another sidearm for her from that spot in the fairway.
Oh, yeah.
Beautiful drive by Rebecca Cox, just riding that right side of the fairway, going down there. And we've now made the turn and we've come all the way back, and we can take a look at the 11th hole now as they walk up the fairway.
So here we go. We see OB on the left and the right, and that is that side hill of OB that Rebecca was just flying over. Very risky shot, but giving her that distance she needs off the drive to make the upshot a little bit shorter, a little bit easier. Paige plays the interesting shot of throwing a mid-range just to land in the middle of the fairway because it is that side hill, that right to left sloping fairway. And then as we can see, the basket is resting on that side hill too. So it makes putts a little bit tricky when you get up there. But I think it is about that placement shot. And even though Paige has the distance, choosing this mid-range shot she's sticking to her game plan. She knows what to do. She might have seen herself go out of bounds maybe on that right-hand side, trying to crush it way down the fairway. So she's learned from her mistakes in previous years, I'm sure. And I think it's a really cool play. And it's fun to see these ladies doing a variety of shots and seeing them execute it just like that.
Yeah, no doubt about it. And we're going to look back down the fairway. We can go to this view, and we see now Paige Pierce lining up right in the middle. And, you know, we are chugging right along here. It's only been an hour and 38 minutes. And for all you tournament directors out there, this is an important thing to watch. Our players able to just play here in this final round. Paige going just a little high, but again, that theme of throwing slower discs, having them go a little bit straighter, coming into play here again on that shot for her.
Yeah, the floaty mid-range doesn't do anything too crazy. I know she doesn't hit the exact perfect line that she wanted, but she'll be right up there putting for birdie. Great play. She stuck to that game plan.
And Evelina taking that risky shot off of the tee, but giving herself a sidearm into this green, which is ideal. She pumped it pretty hard and has gone long of the basket, but still a birdie opportunity for our leader. But boy, taking that risky shot, giving herself just a wide open sidearm look into this green.
With nothing really to aim at, it's really tough to judge the distance on this hole especially. So it's really easy to throw it past the basket, and it's easy to come up short too. But we see Rebecca using that palm tree on the right-hand side to bring that hyzer in, and she threw in a very beautiful upshot, looking at an easy birdie here.
Yeah, that was a great shot by Rebecca, and we'll now see Jessica lining up the sidearm, and really she's put herself in a position she could do either shot from here, but I think she's going to stick with what is most strong in her game, which is the sidearm. Now, one thing I would say from the position is that it brings in the OB on the left side. She's going back for a disc change, sticking with the same side, but just a different disc, maybe something a little bit more stable.
Tough shot. You see she's forced to throw maybe between that light post and the tree. Playing in the skip.
And we said throwing shade earlier. Well, Jessica was trying to throw some shade on that basket by giving it a possible ace run, but it just grabs that sticky grass at that angle. But still a great birdie opportunity for Jessica Weiss to go under par for the round, 2 under par. She's still an outside factor in this tournament if she can just continue to move her way further and further under par.
And these ladies, again, they're playing from a new tee, a women's tee on this one. And I think this is way more fun to watch. These women are getting birdie runs at this basket, and it's way more fun to see birdies rather than players struggling for par and a lot of players getting bogeys. When you want to see strokes being handed back and forth, you want those players to earn it, and earning it on birdies is just way more fun than pars.
Yeah, it really is. And when you look at the scores at 6 under par for our leader, I would say that these courses have been designed perfectly for these players. And we have Evelina, our leader, for birdie on the 11th hole.
All over the basket, but a little high, a little left. Everybody is putting for birdie here. Really good position she is in right here, even with the basket. Taking her time there, trying to get comfortable on that side hill. But that was a big putt, getting her back on track, getting her another birdie after a few pars in a row. Nice to make a good putt like that to get you back on track. Paige Pierce for birdie.
No doubt about it. And Paige is not ready to give up on this one just yet. Now moving 4 under par for the round, just 1 stroke behind Jessica Weiss. This putt is for birdie to move again under par for the round and 2 under par for the tournament, just 4 back. And just a hesitant putt there, I would say. She just, has that little turnover putt finishing on the left side of the basket. We see our leader coming in for a par. And it must be said about Rebecca Cox that this is something. She was 2 over par at one point in this round and now has fought her way back to even par for the round, 3 over for the tournament. Great to see that from her as well. And the ladies are just walking down the hill over to the 12th hole. And we can see really all of our leaders here. I think Jennifer Allen, 1 under par there through 17. She's on the Dragon at this point. I've named that hole the Dragon. But let's take a look at the 12th hole where our leaders are.
Now we're on hole 12. It's only 282 feet. Again, a new women's tee they're playing from. It is 252 feet to clear the green to get up into the fairway there. Another elevated basket. It's a lot of water here, but as long as these ladies can throw their shot and cross land, there's not going to be a lot of issues. And I think that's really the only way you need to play this. You just need to focus on getting it in bounds. Doesn't really matter how far you are away from the basket, but as long as you're up next to the basket or up where the basket is, you're going to be fine. But yeah, don't want any OBs on this one. And if they played it like they played hole 8, we should be looking good, but the water's right there. It's so daunting still, but no wind to speak of. Should be an easy hole for them if they put that out of their mind.
Yeah, I'm a little bit surprised to hear you explain it quite that way. Of course, we know they want to be inbounds, but with our leaders, they're looking to go for birdie on this hole.
Okay, yeah.
They've done a great job at redesigning this hole so that the women can do that. So, but we know being in bounds is the number one for these players. And, it's one of those things where, again, a nice change as you've explained.
Yeah. And I'm thinking in my head, a lot of players, when they step up to shots like this, some people might be thinking, don't throw in the water. That's all I want to do. Don't throw in the water, but it's throw in bounds. That's the positive way of thinking here. And it looks like Madison threw in the water on hole 13.
Yeah, and we are with our chase card. This is Madison Walker up on the next hole, hole 13. And Madison is just 2 over par for the round. She's tied for 7th at 7 over par for the tournament. And I think one thing you just said there was so key. If any of you players back at home are listening in right now, you tournament players, you never want to say don't in your mind or out loud. Don't throw in the water. You should be never saying that, saying I'm going to throw to the basket or I'm going to throw it in bounds. Even just the smallest thing like that can affect your psyche.
Right. Don't hit that tree. And then what happens? Of course, you hit that tree. So saying something a little bit more positive, hit that line, hit next to the basket. That's what gets your mind thinking and focusing on the shot at hand. And I know right here, Madison is giving herself a positive pep talk. Hit that line, Madison. Let's go.
Don't hit that.
And in that case, she used the word don't, but the disc was already in the air, so not much that can happen. So power of positive thinking. We're going to head to the tee pad of hole 12. Our second place position player, Paige Pierce, on the tee. And I would never want to contradict what you would say, Val, but that's exactly what I'm talking about. Paige Pierce looking at nothing but the basket, throwing a park job on this hole, putting some pressure on Evelina. But I guess we're married, so we contradict each other all the time, probably. But, that's just how it is, I guess.
But in the end, Nate, the wife is always right. And Paige Pierce does land in bounds, as I know Rebecca wants to do here as well.
Two for two park jobs. And if we look right there from that view, is that even a lake? I mean, Simon Lizotte might be with his ice skates. That might look like ice out there. It's so calm. These players just allowed to just play.
Taking a little bit of wider shot, gets a nice skip. She's going to have a putt there, but that's perfect execution on this.
My blood pressure was rising on that one. Had that been a normal height basket, she would have hit the basket. All these elevated baskets. Anyways, we have Jessica Weiss here throwing a sidearm. A little bit more inside, a little bit higher. 4 for 4 birdie opportunities on this 12th hole.
And we see the players, and they're throwing up toward the basket, so they're lower than the basket. So you have to throw up, you have to work that angle, and as you can see, Jessica and Evelina had a little bit more angle on their shots, putting them for farther putts away, but they've got a big walk up to the tee pad. So let's take a quick break and hear from Team Footwear.
And big thanks to Keen Footwear for supporting not only Disc Golf Pro Tour, but Disc Golf for so long, as I think it's been over 10 years that Keen's been a part of Disc Golf at this point, sponsoring tournaments, sponsoring players. It's really an overall great company, and those commercials just make you want to get out and run on some island somewhere.
Yeah, that sounds nice right about now. Here we've got Sarah Holcomb throwing from the drop zone on hole 13. I'm not sure if she missed the Mando or not, or if this is just where her drive landed, because she is taking it from behind a disc. Let's say that's where her drive landed.
Yeah, I think that was a really good observation there. We have Jessica Weiss now at the basket of hole 12. She missed a short birdie putt on the previous hole. This is the opportunity for redemption. And redemption it is. That is such a great feeling. I think it even makes us feel good in the booth to see that putt from her. And we're going to sneak in here and see Evelina lining up this birdie opportunity.
There is no doubt when that putt was released from her hand. That is a birdie for Evelina. Getting closer to the basket here, Rebecca Cox steps up.
My money's on a star frame here, and Let's see if that happens. And I have no doubts that Paige Pierce
steps up.
My money's on a star frame here, and let's see if that happens. And I have no doubts that Paige Pierce will put this in for a star frame. We had a star frame on hole 7. We had a star frame on hole 12. Starting and finishing this part of the park in great form. And now we see the top 10 leaderboard, 7 under par, 5 under par for the round for Evelina, 5 under par for Paige Pierce, 6 under. Wow.
Yeah, there's no way I was taking that bet. I mean, we've seen these ladies play so incredible. Birdies for everybody on that hole, making it look so easy. We've got the chase card. I know our lead card has a long walk ahead of them, but we've got some action from the chase card on pretty much this back loop here. So let's see what these ladies do. We're on hole 8 here. That was Sarah Hokum throwing a sidearm off the tee. Green flag.
Yeah, and this is going to be a great opportunity. We have about 4 minutes here of coverage of the chase card. And there you go, Katrina Allen. That's why she's 3 under par through 13 holes with putts like that.
Yeah, that was huge. That was her second birdie in a row at this point.
And, you know, we can see Sarah Hokum here just lining up this long birdie opportunity, running it in, and just a little bit short. And through 3 days, Val, we've talked about how pars are so good for these players, but not on a day like today. You know, some days we see Championship Sunday happening and the players are a little nervous. Nobody knows who wants to win. But on today, I feel like these players know exactly who wants to win and they don't want to give it up.
No doubt. Yeah, yesterday's round, the hot round of the day was -2 by Evelina. Her and Paige are now sitting at -5 for the round. So they are ready to play, and it is just huge, high, competitive disc golf out there. And it's great to see they're both fighting for the win. A lot of times you can see one single player just going off and running with it. Last year, Paige Pierce won by 11 strokes. Not happening this year from what I can tell. There's not that many holes left. These ladies are walking over to the 13th tee pad. So just 6 holes left in the tournament. So it's anyone's game at this point. I think it's a 2-man race.
Yeah, currently it is, and it would take something special from Jessica Weiss to come back and be a part of this little race that we have going on here. We've just been watching the chase card play these holes, which is awesome that we're able to see at least 8 players play this final round. We've almost seen every single shot. And here's Katrina Allen. And leaving it just short. That would have been for 4 birdies in a row for her at that point of the round. Madison putting it in dead center in the heart. And one thing that, you know, Evelina's done in this final round is made all of those big putts. And even the putts she's missed, they've all been for birdie except for that second hole. And one of those things is you see, we saw way back on 2, it was like, maybe the nerves are going to come and, you know, really affect Evelina. But in this case, they didn't. So, yeah.
That is the only blemish on her scorecard. Was on hole 2 with a bogey, but everything else is either birdie or par, and almost birdie, par. So she is playing such steady, strong golf.
So we've gone from chase card action of those holes to live play from our chase card as the lead card is still working their way up to the 12th or 13th tee. We're on the 14th hole. This is Katrina Allen with her signature visor on, asking for it to sit. And I think it did. She seems okay with that one.
She was on a birdie run for a bit there. just took a bogey on that last hole.
Yeah, and the 13th hole is so challenging for our players. As we saw the men play that hole yesterday, they were able to throw completely over the top of those trees. And we will now take a look at the 13th hole. Give us a rundown of it, Val.
And was that the drone sound right there? No, that's not the drone sound. We're on hole 13. It's 405 feet. We're going to see the ladies play the shot the drone's going to fly through. You have to avoid that sign, that tree. How about that tree too? You got to throw a nice laser shot up the fairway, making sure you get enough distance on it. We might see a couple players getting runs at birdies, but another elevated basket with water just behind it. So it's a tricky shot. Again, I have to emphasize how important it is just to stay in bounds. Once you get that drive in bounds, then you could play the rest of the hole. But if we can get those drives a little more accurate, and from what we've seen from these ladies, they can do just that.
Yeah, and perfectly said. As really the way that you explained that hole was perfect. The 12th hole being the hole that they just played was the second easiest hole, not quite the easiest, but the second easiest. And now coming into this 13th hole as the most difficult at playing almost a stroke over, a full stroke over par. We're at 0.8 average. It's the hardest hole in this tournament at the moment. I'm sure 18 is probably the second hardest, but yeah, you're exactly right. Get it inbounds off the tee, then let the hole come to you from that point.
Yeah, that's so interesting. I think I have a lot of bad memories from hole 12. I think it's a really good changeup that they brought that women's tee just a little bit closer to the water. I was never able to play that, but the long tee is 15, 20 feet just behind, but the angle that you have to drive from, it just makes it so much more difficult. I actually, every year, I laid up to where that women's tee is now. And so I know it's an easier drive, but maybe it's just so many bad memories from playing this tournament from so many years. But good to see that the ladies made it look easy. It's a great change up for that women's tee out there.
Yeah, and I think you're right. I mean, you do look at it, and that hole was playing almost a half stroke under par, that 12th hole. And we're seeing, we were just seeing Sarah Hokum playing the 14th hole. We're going to be heading over to the 13th hole. Again, our hardest hole of the day at this point, playing almost a full stroke over par. And, you know, that says a lot. We've only have, at this point, 10 players play the hole. So, you know, a lot of bogeys. So a par is a great score on this hole for these players. And let's see how they attack it as we see Paige Pierce with the tee. As Paige Pierce has had now two birdies in a row, and she's birdied 5 of the last 6. So on a huge run, but Evelina is holding strong still with the lead. And Paige grabbing a different disc. We will see this tee shot coming up.
This is original hole 1. I know the layout of this tournament has changed up so much throughout the years, but it's an original hole leaving the fairway. She was risking those trees right there, but managed to scoot right through. Maybe a little skizzle, but definitely a scoot.
I like it. I like it. Boy, Rebecca playing that shot perfectly. As you explained, that's pretty much exactly what you said to do on the whole preview. So nice job there by Rebecca Cox. But more importantly, let's see how Evelina handles this drive. The most difficult hole of the day for these players.
There's your skizzle, Nate. That skizzle's right up there. She's got the farthest drive out of the group. Using the sidearm, playing the entire fairway. Everybody's safe. Step number 1, check.
Yeah, and they're going to walk up. So we'll probably take a little commercial break here as they walk down and around the lake here and make their way to the green. But either way, great job by all 4 of our players to make that easy first step. And we cut that commercial off just so we could catch Paige Pierce, her second shot. She's saying, wow, Paige. And I have to say, wow, as well. Huge misstep with just 6 holes left to play in this tournament. Advantage Evelina.
With the pressure on, you cannot make mistakes like that. As much as the door is open, it puts so much pressure on Evelina's upshot to get up close by the basket. But here we have Rebecca Cox throwing her shot.
Well, and I say even more of an advantage because Evelina is in a position where she should be able to use more of like a jump putt style / half little pitch, to where Paige Pierce actually had to throw that shot into a green that is so tight with water all over the place. And boy, Jessica Weiss almost bringing water in there. Let's see how our leader handles this shot with all of this pressure on the hardest hole of the tournament to this point.
Little bit of fluff on that upshot, I would say, but no worries at all.
Handles this shot with all of this pressure on the hardest hole of the tournament to this point.
Little bit of fluff on that upshot, I would say, but no worries at all. Leaving it a little short, not even risking the water there.
As my caddy Jeff Spring would say, that was a pitch from Evelina, just pitching it up there, controlling the speed. No worries for her at this point, but the story right now is Paige Pierce has thrown into the water on her second shot on this 13th hole. And we're going to see what happens. Seems as if it will be a fairly easy bogey for her, but we're going to still see this one-stroke swing, and with only 5 holes to play after this, this is huge. And a quick stick would come in hand for Paige Pierce right now, as we can see her disc there in the water. See if Nate Perkins can get up off of that chair bag, rolling Zuka cart, and get it for her. It's not too much work for him. One thing to mention here is the tough stance.
Yep, she's using a straddle putt here, but with that water right behind her, she's going to have to move all her momentum forward without making it a falling putt. Good save. That's about all you can do after throwing it out of bounds. But for Evelina here, this is huge. She needs to make this putt. The door is wide open, and she is in control of every stroke. With the water just behind, we see Rebecca lining it up. She's definitely going for it. This is going to be her par save on this hole. Cashes it right in the heart. It's a great putt from Rebecca. You see Jessica, she's going to be marking her lie. It's near the water here, but she is safe.
She is safe. That was a nervous upshot from Jessica.
Very nice save for par. Jessica's sitting solidly in third place right now. Safe distance. She's maintaining a really good score in these last few holes.
And there we go. Evelina confirms that one-stroke difference on that 13th hole and now puts herself 2 ahead with just 5 holes to play. And we'll head over to the 14th. You know, the 14th is one of those interesting holes that can go either way, Val.
Yep. It's another par 4. We have 655 feet to get to the basket. This tree that we're coming up on the right, players are going to be throwing a hyzer around that, landing them in this spot right about here. Mando tree to our right. But if they land in that perfect position, they're going to have a straight shot at the basket. It's a couple of drives for these ladies, but as we saw from Evelina yesterday, she had a nice, easy birdie. She landed in 2 perfect positions, and so I can see this being another scoring separator here because there's still OB surrounding the entire basket once again.
Yeah, and with the field going, now we have the field have everybody in the field besides this lead group has played hole 14. It is playing at a half stroke over par, the 4th hardest hole. Then we have the 15th hole, which is actually playing the easiest of all of our holes today in the final round. So sort of interesting if Evelina can make the shot, the 2 shots she needs to get herself into birdie position on this 14th hole and then play the 15th hole well, we could really see an opportunity here for Evelina to take the championship down, but we still need to find out how these players are going to attack these holes. I can't say it enough, the excitement right now to see a player like Evelina from Finland playing so well here in the U.S.
Yeah, this is just huge. And them going for Paige and Evelina to be going back and forth, this is making it so much fun to watch. Like you said, I'm glad you get to spectate some women's disc golf. It's a different strategy that these ladies have out there, but with these shorter tee pads that we've got, this different layout that we have for the women, it's making it just so competitive. But as we see, Paige Pierce, she's able to reach a lot of these holes, but today she has been getting into trouble. And as I talked to her before the tournament started, she said that she would only give herself 2 bogeys per round, and she's already at 3 for today's round. So she's getting into a lot more trouble than she would expect to do to win this tournament, but she's still right in there, only 2 strokes right behind Evelina.
Yeah, and you know, it's not the normal sharp Paige Pierce that we expect to see in the early parts of the season. You know, a person and a player like Paige Pierce taking on so many projects right now. She's doing photography. She's traveling the world. She is the absolute best player in the women's game right now and really a Hall of Fame type player. So we all expect that Paige Pierce, by the time the season gets into full swing, will be at that peak. But right now, Evelina showing that she's ready to play right now.
And looking to play right now, Rebecca Cox is first on the tee. Nice smooth drive from Rebecca, hoping to get a little bit more skip to land her in the center of the fairway, but I think that's great placement there. Shades off after the throw.
I think it's you. Okay.
Yeah, she took the shades off there for that tee shot. Again, there's just a little bit of shade on the tee pad. So here's Evelina, our leader.
Ready? Go.
Yes. Seeing that view from behind the tee pad, you can see she released it at such a nice angle there and got that great skip.
Yeah, and I think for all of our Finnish players out there, it would be Huva. It's a great shot for Evelina on this 14th hole. Jessica doing exactly the same thing. And now what we've all been waiting for to see what Paige Pierce does here. I think Paige needs to just take a big deep breath and throw the exact same shot that our previous 3 players have thrown. Nothing you can really do extra here. Just put it in the middle. Give yourself a birdie opportunity.
Pressure's on. She sawed it off there. Paige is going to be the first one to throw again off the tee, so she's immediately booking it down the fairway.
All the way over there, though.
Yeah, and it's our job to call disc golf here, Val, and I think that is so surprising to me. Why on a hole like 14 would you have 2 discs in your hand? It's a hole that is, we played that hole for so many years. It's the same disc every single time. So I have to question Paige Pierce there. And unfortunately, she did not throw a great shot there. And so, it's tough for us to really question our players like this, but it must be said.
Yes, I would agree. It's an easy hyzer for Paige. All she needed to do was get past that tree, but she hit that tree, dropped down. So she's really short off in the fairway. So this is going to make a huge drive to try and save it. I'm going to see if she's trying to force the shot, which I think she has to do at this point. But now having to pull out a distance driver to get that extra distance she just lost might end up with a skip in the fairway, but hopefully she can manage to stay right in the middle.
Yeah, this is a situation where we could see this piling on, but Paige Pierce keeping it right down the middle of the fairway. What an awesome shot by Paige, but still so far back. There's still no chance for birdie there.
If we're into the betting mode here, I'm gonna still bet that Paige is gonna make a good run for it. She could be outside circle 2, make up circle 3, and she might still be running at it. There's not a ton of risk on this. I see the circle's edge is surrounded by that wall there, but I think she's going to be making a run for it. She can't risk at this point to be losing any more strokes to Evelina. Still just 2 back.
Yeah, and again, we know the stats because we just see Missy here throwing her upshot on that 15th hole, again, playing the easiest, and that was her second shot in there tight for birdie. But really not a lot of moving room here with Evelina in the middle of the fairway and an easy hole coming up next. It's one of those things, again, I just cannot reiterate it enough. Why would Paige Pierce have 2 discs in her hands on a hole like 14? It should just be, already laid out for her. So, we'll see how this all plays out at this point. And Rebecca's disc just turning over again. She's so far back, she has to really do a full flight of that disc. And again, I just can't question Paige Pierce enough. A shot right in the middle would have put her in perfect position for that straight mid-range. But we'll move on from that, and so will she.
A lot of snap on that one, risking going OB on the OB sidewalk over there, but I think Jessica's nice and safe. But she's going to have a big putt to save that par.
Yeah, 2 in a row turnovers there, going too far to the right. Evelina just being just a few steps more to the left. This should be a nice little flip up for Evelina. Wow.
Yes.
With a shaded basket there. Perfect drive. Perfect second shot. Evelina Salonen showing that she wants this tournament right now.
That was such a nice throw. You could tell that she really trusted that disc as she released that on such an extreme hyzer. I'm so glad that that disc was able to flip up. It was a nice understable disc, flip up and fly nice and flat and straight, a little bit of turnover, and park it right underneath the basket. But knowing your disc, it played an important role right here with Evelina's throw. There's going to be so much pressure down the stretch, and she is hitting these shots right at the moment where she absolutely needs to.
I'm having to guess. I don't like that.
Yeah, and we're just trying to see what's going on here. Just to the left side, I think our two players that did turn it over are playing their second or now third shots from this right side of the fairway as it's the hole is played. And there we go. There's Rebecca Cox.
Branch is in her reach back here. This is going to make it really tricky to throw this Anheuser shot for her upshot here. The crowd loves it. You can see from another camera angle a big old smile from Rebecca. It's great to see her on the leader card. She's always smiling. She has a great personality. And that was a great way to save that shot from the tree there. With Jessica Weiss just laying up again, right-hand side of the fairway, but she was safe.
Yeah, now we can see how far Paige Pierce landed from this basket as we'll zoom out and just catch her right there in the shade. Outside opportunity for birdie. Giving it a solid run, nothing short about it, but she did miss that putt, still leaving her outside of Salonen, who is in close for birdie on this hole. And if Evelina is able to convert that birdie, moving herself to 6 under par, 8 under par for the tournament. Just an incredible, incredible way of playing.
And so we see Paige is putting again first. So this is a tester putt for Paige. So it might take the pressure off if Paige misses it. But she doesn't. Still feeling so confident in that. Unfortunately, that's just a par for Paige.
And now we see Evelina
capitalizing on that. Another stroke separating her and Paige, creating that little bit of buffer that you need. Get a little bit more comfortable, but Evelina is striving to continue to make up those strokes.
So yeah, as we look at the top 10 leaderboard here, we will see it is that 3-stroke lead that you just mentioned. 3 strokes with just 4 holes to play here on Championship Sunday. Coming into the 15th hole, this is our easiest hole on the course. Let's take our flyby and have Valerie tell us what we've got here.
So hole 15, it's a par 4, 450 feet. It's kind of like a dog leg to the left, but I want to see our players throwing big crushing drives, and they just need to get as much distance as they can straight forward, then worry about crossing that corner on their upshot and worry about those trees that are near the basket. But it is an easy hole if you do avoid that OB sidewalk on the left, which these players shouldn't be anywhere near. It's really just it's an easy birdie. It's a par 4, but these players, if they should throw 2 great shots, they're going to be under the basket. The big drive, an easy upshot.
Yeah, and absolutely. Playing 0.7 under par, our easiest hole. And really at this point, looking with 4 holes to play, we have, an easy hole, and we'll get to 16, 17, and 18. But at this point, all Paige Pierce can do is play her game plan, which should have been to birdie all of these holes to begin with. And maybe Evelina, the pressure will succumb. But at this point, this tournament is in Evelina's hands.
Yes, it is. And we have seen her make putt after putt. So she is so confident in her game. So I don't see her breaking stride at all. She's going to continue to hit those putts, I'm sure. And Paige at this point just needs to put pressure on to make her Evelina a little nervous. And, you know, you never want to see a player struggle out there, but that's the only thing that's going to keep Paige in it right now. 4 holes left, and we're right in the home stretch now.
Yeah, we are in the home stretch with just 4 holes to play, and we'll go to our chase card all the way up on 16, and this is a good look at what will be the next hole for our leaders. It's a tough hole. It plays about middle of the road as far as difficulty on this course for our players. Katrina taking a roller approach at this hole and flipping it over immediately and going up and into the road on the right side. She will be OB on that tee shot. And you can see it on her face. We're going to come right back to Evelina on her drive on 15. Again, Evelina just needs to keep it in the fairway.
Throwing a big hyzer there. She's going to have the trees in her way on the upshot, but that was a nice big shot. I love the way she gets set up for this drive. Each and every drive, same routine. Playing the big hyzer just alongside Evelina out there on the fairway.
Now, Val, is there anything that Paige Pierce can do on this hole besides just play it the way we've seen our other players play it?
I'm not sure. It is 450 feet, so that is outside of her distance. But if Paige can pump this for a full distance shot, she might get a run at a 2, which would be an eagle. And she is way up there, but I'm not sure that she'll have that run. The sidewalk is just behind the basket, about 20 feet to the left and behind.
Yeah.
Do you think she would go for some kind of putt like that? We have 4 holes to go. She's 3 strokes back of Evelina. You know that Evelina might be looking at a good birdie here.
Yeah, let's just take a quick look at our chase card playing holes. And we saw this shot live. This is hole 13. I think just following up on your posed question, I would say, Paige Pierce, I think it would be a big mistake at this point to run at this shot on 15. Still plenty of time, and with hole 18 looming, anything can happen. But I think it would be a big mistake. I think she needs to just slide it up underneath that basket. At this point, 4 birdies for her would be the best that she can do to put the most pressure on Evelina. And there is a little bit of danger looming behind that 15th basket. So we will see. Here's Katrina Allen making a huge putt on that 13th hole, excuse me. That was for par.
Way back there.
We've mentioned Jessica's rally cap that she's had on in previous rounds when we saw her just shredding it. She's wearing her rally socks today. Making it a fashion statement here.
Yeah, Jessica always making a fashion statement. She's got that bling hat too, which I really like. So, Jessica,
we'll get you one of those. I'd love to see you out there with a bling hat on, Nate. You'd say like DOS on the top, all bedazzled and stuff. Anyways, back to the action. Jessica Weiss lining up her upshot here. Very nice shot by Jessica, picking her line, nailing it. That's going to be a nice, easy putt for her, and that would be a birdie if she was able to capitalize on that.
Yeah, and while our players are just sort of waiting for Rebecca to get lined up, as I said, I just think Paige Pierce at this point, 4 birdies coming in would be the only thing she can do. And just looking down at Evelina's scorecard, there's so much blue on it, 6 under par with 7 birdies on the card. Incredible play by our leader, and what a beautiful shot by Rebecca.
And we see Rebecca's comfortable on this lead card here, but what she does not know is Katrina Allen is now 1 stroke ahead of her. So there's a battle going on that she can't see, but fortunately for us, we get to see all the action here. And her and Katrina are battling it out for that 4th place.
Asking for it to sit. It'll be just a tester under these pressure positions, but Evelina's putted so well today. Shouldn't be a problem. And, you know, we do know that these little battles are going on with Rebecca Cox, just 1 stroke behind. But we know that Katrina's thrown OB on that 16th hole. So Rebecca with a birdie on this hole might move right back ahead of Katrina into that 4th place position. And again, I'm concerned right now. I'd love to see Paige just step up and just put this underneath the basket and move on to the 16th hole, which we saw yesterday can do all kinds of damage to players.
What happened to that one?
Look at our faces as we come back to the booth. I don't even know what happened to that disc. Yeah, and I think she just overturned it, trying to give it a run. And this is what I'm talking about, Val. I just think she just needed to nestle that one up and move to the next hole.
That's what happens when you get greedy. She was trying to go for a run on that one. I think there's plenty of space off to the left-hand side of that tree to give her a wider shot, but she was trying. You can see her visualizing with that disc the line she wanted to hit, and I think she was trying to give that a run, but now she is going to be forced. We see she did go through the tree. I believe she's safe right there, but this is a tester putt for Paige. That was a birdie run. She's going to be dropping in her par here. You see Evelina stepping up for her birdie here to get another stroke, yet another stroke on top of Paige's score.
And there's Jessica Weiss. We have 3 birdies on that hole, 1 par. And that par is going to, in theory, almost end this tournament run for Paige Pierce. It is now a 4-stroke lead with just 3 holes to play. And I hate sort of feeling right in this position, but as I said, I just think Paige needed to lay that up. That was more damage than she needed.
Freeze frame.
And we see a freeze frame here of Katrina Allen there. But we just had a little technical difficulty.
And so as we just saw Paige go through the tree there, a misstep on that upshot. She was going, that would have been an eagle on this hole. So she was really forcing that shot to happen, forcing herself to get a couple strokes, but unfortunately loses a stroke when that all happened. So it's a weird shift right there.
Yeah, you know, and in our other camera view, we just saw Paige Pierce give a little knuckle bump to Evelina, and in a way that almost feels as if she's conceding the tournament at this point. But what we know as commentators is that there is still so many things that can happen on these last 3 holes, and if I'm telling Evelina what to do, and I'm not, she should just be doing what she's doing, playing it nice and safe, keeping all of those bogey opportunities off of her card.
Right. The last thing you want to do is feel like you've won, even though you've got 3 holes left. the last thing you want to do is let your foot off of that gas pedal. She needs to keep that momentum going like she has throughout the round. Rebecca Cox chooses to go off of the grass there, and I think that it gives players a better angle and a better run-up so you can execute that straighter line to lay yourself up next to that side hill there.
Yeah, and at this point, Jessica Weiss has an outside chance to finish in second place in this tournament, depending on how Paige Pierce can handle these last few holes. Jessica pulling it just inside that pine, rolling up just a little bit. She's going to have a birdie look on the 16th. And as we look from the tee, we see Paige Pierce getting ready. We see RV Alley there. That's the Palms Hotel just to the right. And all of the RVs, all of these touring players.
As much as we just talked about kind of feeling a little bit of relief, and you think Paige might have felt like she was conceding. I know Paige Pierce wants to win the tournament, but with Jessica Weiss right at her heels, I think this is still very important that Paige nails these shots. But there's a one burner off the side of the right hand.
We hear a very active McDowell Road there just behind this basket, not even bothering Sarah Hokum whatsoever. Beautiful putt by Sarah. Sarah's had one of those rounds that we haven't even talked about at all, but she is 1 under par through 17 holes. So very quality round, quality play for Sarah in the second half of this tournament. Beautiful putt for Katrina Allen as well. We come back to Rebecca. Rebecca seeming off the tee just to be playing this hole for par and doing just that.
Trying to find the next player, and I would imagine it's Paige. There she is on the side hill. That was just an upshot for her, but we'll see Paige do that quite often. I haven't seen it much today, but that was a putter she was throwing, and just to make sure that she's getting enough momentum forward, she likes to do that jump putt. So she does a little walk up and a jump putt toward it. So it lands her right next to the basket here.
Yeah, and in a way, I think a very fortunate shot for Paige Pierce as Evelina slides it up, hitting the bottom of the basket. She is not at all breaking in any way, but that was sort of fortunate for Paige because a bogey here on one of these final holes could cost her second place, and I still think second place is a great finish in a big tournament like this. But Jessica Weiss has an opportunity to get within one if she were to make this uphill birdie putt. And just falling out on the left side. Great run by Jessica, asking it to sit, and it did. We just have tap-ins on this hole.
Pars for everybody. No movement there. 2 holes left as we see Paige Pierce walk up the hill, get her mind back into it. Jessica's got that confident walk. Evelina still killing it. She's got a nice hefty lead right now. 4 strokes over Paige Pierce. Looking good right now. 6 strokes over Jessica Weiss. And those are all your, look at negative scores for the whole tournament. That's amazing to see, but Evelina is shredding it at a -7 for the round. That is hot shooting.
Yeah, let's take a look at the 17th hole. Birdie opportunity for all of our players.
Here we go on hole 17. It's 243 feet, but as we can see, there's that sidewalk at the bottom of the hill there, thankfully protected by one of our sponsors, creating that wall for any rolls to prevent them from going out of bounds. But there is OB long right there in the gunite, but this is a good birdie hole here.
And we have live looking at the Dragon here, OB all along the right side. Again, I think what a brilliant change by our tournament staff to put this hole into play. And the weather has played well for us here. And this hole is just so difficult. And really, whoever's going to win this tournament, getting through this hole is going to be important. Evelina taking the sidearm route on hole 17, needing it to sit. And it does.
That's all she needs right here. A couple of nice drives safely in the fairway, and she'll be taking home the championship. She's doing what she needs to do right now.
Sorry, bug flew in my eye. That didn't feel good.
We just heard that Rebecca had a bug fly in her eyes, which is taking a second chance on this run up here.
Rebecca not all that happy with their drive on this short par 3. Jessica's going to take the sidearm route. And with the bedazzled hat, a park job for Jessica Weiss. Putting a little bit of pressure on Paige.
Feeling a little defeated, deflated. Paige flips it over. She is way outside circle 2. Jessica's right up there. And as we've just seen in the last couple of holes here, Paige was in contention, battling against Evelina, and now it's Paige and Jessica in the race for second place.
Yeah, all of a sudden this has turned into a battle for second place, and we just saw that disc come into the green. And as I said, I don't know if Paige even is worried or concerned about it, but Jessica Weiss right on her heels. And depending on how Paige decides to play the 18th hole, we could see Jessica easily with an opportunity to finish in second, which would be great for her and just a confidence boost as they head into the beginning of this touring season.
I know that the only thing on Paige Pierce's mind is winning tournaments. So getting second or third place is not a priority for Paige. But it is a matter of getting a bigger paycheck, which does help these touring players out there. But at this point, I know Paige, all she wanted to do was win this tournament. And at this point, 4 strokes back of Evelina. I'm not seeing it happen unless something crazy does on hole 18.
And a great run by Paige, and a little fortunate to hit the top and stick real close to the basket. It will be a par for her. We have a live look in here on the 18th. You can see how tight it is, and all of our fans at home will remember what happened yesterday. And Evelina, and forget about even winning the tournament at this point. We know she will, but 8 under par in this round. Incredible.
Shredding it. This is going to be a highly rated round if you guys keep track of that. That is shooting on fire. We've seen her hit 82% of the fairways. She's smashed so many putts. She's at 90% for circle 1 putting. She hasn't had to make too many circle 2 putts, but she has been killing it out there. She's at -10 for the tournament, heading in with just 1 hole left to conquer the Memorial Championships.
And let's take a look at that 18th hole. Val, tell us about the Dragon.
The Dragon, it shows its teeth right here with so much water. OB on the right. Players are going to have to carry their drives over this water to land them back into the landing strip of a fairway we see right off on the left-hand side of the screen. Carry it too far or skip it too hard, you might end up out of bounds. But we see another elevated basket to finish. And this Dragon, I know these ladies are ready to slay it. One hole left, and we're going to do a lot of a live listen in, as Nate's quoting, and see these ladies finish out here at the Memorial Championship.
Loving the picture-in-picture as we can see Sarah Holcomb up on the green, putting for par. We will have a live listen to our players as they throw this 18th hole.
Allen take a bogey on this final hole here, That bumps Rebecca Cox, makes Rebecca Cox tie with Katrina at this point. Let's see if Rebecca can par this hole to maintain that 4th place finish. Good, it looks like the basket just cleared out. Paige Pierce disappointed with this round. We're just about ready to tee.
It looks like it.
Let's see that again. Come on now. Redemption for Paige Pierce. 400-foot hole over water the entire time.
And it has to be said, Val, that had Paige Pierce been able to do that yesterday, we would be having a completely different conversation here right now. But as you can see in the middle of our screen, Evelina and Paige.
Tournaments when I was 8. You know Doug Redding? Yeah. I play with her a lot, because we both live in Texas. Oh, okay. So when I'm at home, I play with her.
These players in such good spirits, such a good competitor out of Paige Pierce. Talking with who is our sole leader right here. She's got a 5-stroke cushion right here. Evelina sitting nice in the fairway. Got plenty of strokes to get to the basket, but she's making this hole easy for her first win here at the Memorial.
Yeah, we just have Rebecca Cox lining this shot up, and you can hear Paige Pierce explaining to Evelina that she had the opportunity to play with Des Redding, as they're both from Texas, when she was younger, and how important it is for our players to share these types of stories with each other. And Evelina's shown that she's a great player, but this is a win on the U.S. soil, and we don't have very many players, and that's going to do it. Really, it was already done just a couple of holes ago, but for a European player to win on U.S. soil is a big deal, and Evelina is going to join that group.
It is so incredible, and we know that all of Europe is cheering right now. Jessica Weiss is one back of Paige Pierce as we sit right now, but we just saw Paige park this hole, so we believe that Paige should have second place covered right here. With third place, Jessica Weiss just laying up there. And she does have a cushion over fourth place, but I know Jessica wants to make this and move on with her solid finish, solid play throughout the whole weekend here. And you hate to see that happen, but it's no worries. She's not going to move spots at all. But, she wants to be done right now.
Yeah, and unfortunately, in front of the crowd, it's always a horrible thing. But at this point, she could do that 3 more times and not have any sort of change, maybe only mentally. Here's Jessica Weiss. Refocusing, putting it in. Great job. Congratulations to Jessica for her third place finish. And there's Rebecca Cox for her tie for fourth place finish with Katrina Allen, who shot a 4 under par. Interestingly enough, they're going to let Evelina putt out. And there is our 2019 Memorial Championship champion, Evelina Salonen, shooting an 8 under par in this final round.
Big hug from Paige Pierce, who takes second place. That was such an incredible battle, but I just know this feeling that Evelina's got right here. She just got a fist pump from the crowd. Big hugs from Jessica. I am so stoked for Evelina.
As far as everything is concerned, your ladies and gentlemen, your 2019 Memorial Women's Champion, Evelina Salonen.
There's Keith Murray right there, tournament director, announcing Evelina's win right here. And I just got to give it a chance one time. Evelina is from Valkeakoski, Finland. How was that?
That was great. You got to go Valkeakoski,
there we
Finland.
go.
Congratulations. And that was our tournament director, Keith Murray. And if you haven't met Keith before, he's a great guy. And so thankful he would come down and announce Evelina's name. Big congratulations to Evelina. And what I'll say, while we just watched them finalize this tournament win, is that 8 under round might be one of the best rounds I've literally ever seen a woman play on a course. So solid. She shot 8 under par with a bogey on the second hole. So big congratulations to Evelina Salonen. And just to give it a little rundown of our final scores here, Evelina Salonen with your win at 10 under par for the tournament. And we have Paige Pierce at 6 under, Jessica Weiss 3 under par, Katrina Allen 1 over, tied with Rebecca Cox at 1 over, Sarah Hokum finishing in 6th at 2 over, Paige Bierkes, your world champion, shooting 2 under today, finishing at 6 over in 7th, Jennifer Allen shooting a very solid last round, finishing in 8th, Callie McMoran. McMoran? McMoran, yeah, there you go. Finishing in 9th, and our tied for 10th is Madison Walker and Missy Gannon. So congratulations to all of our players, Val. And I'd love to just hear your reaction now of this tournament and what we just saw Evelina do.
I am so excited for Evelina here. She shot such an incredible round. She should be feeling so proud of herself. OB free, clean golf, an 8 under par is so impressive from this young player. And this is the confidence builder. And we love to see young players shredding it up like this. And under pressure, she did not flail at all. She made every putt that she needed to against 4-time world champion Paige Pierce. And to clinch this win is so huge. So starting off the season so incredibly strong, the first Disc Golf Pro Tour of the year and the Memorial Championship, that is a great one to have under your belt. And it's so great for her to travel so far to play this tournament and to come home with a win. That is just so incredible. Congratulations, Evelina.
And as Val said, congratulations to Evelina Salonen of Valkeakoski, Finland. Congratulations to all of her friends and family back in Finland, hopefully watching this live. What a start to the 2019 season for the women's. We had a huge playoff last week with Paige Bierkus making a big putt, and now just a very dominating weekend by Evelina. So we look forward to seeing how the women continue on with their touring season, but we do appreciate everybody out there watching the women live. We're so lucky to be able to see this stuff live. So big thanks to the Disc Golf Pro Tour. Big thanks to 4-time world champion Valerie Jenkins. And
you're welcome, Nate.
For the women's, that is it. Come join us a little bit later where we'll see men's live coverage where Eagle McMahon has a dominating lead at this point. But let's see if anybody is up for the challenge to take down Eagle. And for now, that's it. Go take a break, enjoy your Sunday, and we will see you later.
See ya.
Today, we're going to talk about the Discraft Mantis. The Discraft Mantis is a neutral fairway driver. The Mantis is a great first driver for beginning players. For the more experienced player, if you throw it hard and flat, you'll get a nice hyzer flip and turnover on it. I really like the Mantis for threading the needle or S-curve shots. It is a great shot shaping disc. If you're looking for a consistent neutral fairway driver, try the Mantis out.